What is up, everybody? Welcome in to another edition of the This Week at Phillies Baseball. And for the first time in this podcast, we actually have a game to cover here tonight. I'm James Scorza with you, and with me, as always, is a group of companions. Joey Marks will be joining us very momentarily, but joining us for the first time is Alex Wright for the first time on This Week at Phillies Baseball. Alex, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm excited to be part of this new Phillies podcast, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun here. So, as you know, the Philadelphia Phillies this week actually had a very good road trip. On this road trip, they won 5 out of their 6 against Tampa Bay and also a season series win yesterday against the Cleveland Guardians. But more importantly than anything like that, Alex, I'd like to ask you the first important question like I always do here on this program here. Is usually a recap of the previous matchup, if I can get it right here. Okay, a weekly recap. A weekly recap of the game that happened on the week between Tampa Bay and Cleveland. So overall, what was your first immediate reaction to this series so far? I mean, how did you think they did on the last couple games against Tampa Bay and Cleveland?
In the Tampa Bay series, I thought that the pitching was up to par, and I felt like the bats definitely kept consistent consistency throughout the series, and I really liked how Bryson Stott hit the ball, as well as Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber. He's definitely heating up at the right time, and I feel like this squad has been going through a terrific run lately into the Cleveland series this past weekend, and it definitely shows what they can do.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too with that scenario too is like you seen the Phillies play to actually back to the where they were the last couple years, obviously, and I think it was a good seeing them like really show out the last couple games or so. Mitch Kofsky joins us here for the first time, as he always does here. Mitch, also check out our shows every single week on Hardcore Sports Network. We got Fly Like an Eagle with yours truly and Joey Marks, and also we got a lot of jam-packed show on other shows, including. So it's very cool to see that too. So yeah, I mean, most importantly than anything like that, like I think the one thing that was really astounding was how the Phillies played to the capability that they did the last couple games. I thought it was a very good game for I think it was the Tampa Bay series was the real positive to see Taijuan Walker come out and just like pitch actually 3 straight innings, like basically had a 9-out save. Kind of unusual seeing that, but how did you think Taijuan Walker did in that like series? I mean, it was pretty good to see. It was pretty cool to see him actually look good in the bullpen. Am I right?
Yeah, I was definitely surprised of how well he pitched late in the game as a reliever uh, in in this uh, in this type of game. I'm just really interested to see how reliable he is throughout the rest of the season, and I think that Rob Thompson did a good job of putting him in the bullpen to see how well he does. And I think fans around the Philadelphia area are kind of optimistic about it. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that what he did in the last outing, he pitched shows great signs of what's to come.
Yeah, and the most important thing too is that usually sometimes when you get transferred into the bullpen, it actually could actually turn into I guess a little bit of a positive. The way I looked at it before it was kind of like how Brett Myers, like in 2007, when he didn't have a very good start to his season, he actually got transferred into the bullpen and actually did very well for them. So I mean, it's happened before. That's the most important thing. So the other thing I want to talk about here on this pod here tonight. So the offense is starting to shape up a little bit now. After a couple games, I thought they pitched. I'm sorry. I thought they played very well to the competition, and starting to hit their stride a little bit. And the one thing I was really happy to see too is that Kyle Schwarber not even. I mean, obviously we're in May now, but it's now he's turning into like Schwarber of June. What was your immediate reaction when you see Schwarber stepping up the way he does in these last couple games or so? I mean, it's pretty cool to see, right?
Yeah, definitely. The plate appearances that he had this past game, which was last night on Sunday Night Baseball, was phenomenal. The way he just makes contact against the left-handers is pretty excellent, and it just the timing of his contact is just amazing to watch, and uh, it just goes to show he's been practicing, I guess, every single day to getting better, and it's really coming together.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it actually is coming together. And sometimes I think about, yeah, if they can sustain this for a full 162 of them, it could be a really good positive, especially going into obviously the later months of the season alongside that too. So that's something to keep an eye on. And the last question I want to ask you here tonight. So it's just like great. I mean, it's kind of funny to see them cook like this early on in the season, but most importantly, it's really actually starting to feel like fun baseball is on the rise here for these next couple months or so.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we haven't had the consistent of teams with good records come through us yet. But towards the end of the month, we'll definitely see how this ball club is with Atlanta and Milwaukee. I know Milwaukee is under the radar,
Mm-hmm.
not as great as people have expected them to be, but I think that Atlanta, no matter what their record shows, they are a hard ball club, and they fight like hell each game, and uh, you just can't play soft each game of that
Mm-hmm.
series. And I feel like that if the pitching is there and the hitting is there, like what we saw in the Cleveland Guardian series, then I just feel optimistic about. I mean, optimistic is not a great word to use, but I feel really confident in what's to come for this ball club.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be the most important key here too. Is that how can they sustain this for the next few months or so? But right now, so far, I mean, we're still early on in the season. It's going to be fun to see what they look like, and especially as the later months come along too. All right, let's get into our player spotlight, and this one is basically a spotlight of like majority of the players. Obviously, they look really good, or sometimes like Aaron Noah over the weekend didn't look like Aaron Noah of the old. I mean, kind of looked like Aaron Noah kind of had one good outing, and he started to look like could play like crap sometimes. But the most important thing, the positive is about too, is that Ranger Suarez is actually coming around, and he's starting to look back to his own self back on Saturday night against Cleveland. So like how did I mean? What was your takeaways on Ranger Suarez outing on this game on Saturday night against Cleveland?
Yeah, I felt like he pitched consistently, even though he had some trouble throughout the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that he's just a game or two back into his self, and it's going to take a little time for him to get cranked up with what we've seen in the past, especially last season.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like Rangers Suarez is here to bring Phillies baseball uh, to the bright side of things, and uh, yeah, you can definitely see it in Christopher Sanchez as well.
Yeah.
He's definitely been a star in this bullpen rotation, in this starting rotation, as well as Zach Wheeler, who pitched a phenomenal game last night. Um, this this starting rotation is 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 the sky of the limit, and I just love to see this team thrive, and they're pushing in the right direction. They just gotta be above water with everything that goes on with them.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too that's really positive about it too is that it was good to see Christopher Sanchez, like you alluded to, in early on in the week against Tampa Bay and looking like his old self again. Kind of like same thing with Ranger
Mhm.
Suarez. But the one thing I was really happy to see last night, since we're talking about Zach Wheeler here for a sec, another great outing for him last night. I thought he pitched very, very well. I thought he pitched to the competition he had. Yeah, Aaron Nola continues to struggle the way he does, but I guess that's probably the reason why he struggled so much and so poorly the last couple games, obviously early on in this season. But yeah, I mean, so speaking of Zach Wheeler, like the game last night was a very good outing for him to finally get back on the stride here. So, the thing I wanted to ask you is that are we seeing Cy Young candidate like pre Doc Holliday like in Zach Wheeler? Because a lot of people are saying this is kind of like what Roy Halladay was back early on in 2010.
Yeah, I can definitely see a comparison in his pitching. I feel like that it's still very early to tell if he's the exact type of pitcher in the Cy Young talk,
Mm-hmm.
but uh, as of now, he's looking terrific, and he's definitely uh, in the talks of being the potential Cy Young.
Yeah, and I think right now I think it's either him and I don't know what Paul Skeens' record is, but I heard he's
Hmm.
looking very well too. So it will be a very good. It will be good to see what they look like, especially in later months or so, especially with Zach Wheeler too. So that's something to be positive about, especially in these next couple starts here. And last night was no question about it, probably one of his best starts of the year.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
All right, so there's another one that's a big storyline that I like to talk about here on this game. Last night, and probably this will be a little bit far fetched here, but it looks to me that Kyle Schwarber does a great job of Cleveland every time when he hits the ball out of the park. So he hit a couple home runs last night that were the game winners last night. So kind of feels like he loves Cleveland so much going back to that 2016 World Series when he was with the Cubs, but. How did you? I mean, what was your immediate reaction seeing Kyle Schwarber just tearing the ball off the park, tearing the ball off the cover again, like he did the last couple years or so, and he continues to show why he's one of the best hitters in baseball once again.
Yeah, he's definitely got that power in him. The way he shifts his body into the baseball is very great to see, and he's just swinging away, and that's what uh, great MLB hitters continue to do, and he's definitely one of them,
Mm-hmm.
and he's in the race with Aaron Judge with the amount of home runs. And I just feel like if he keeps this up, then he's definitely gonna be uh, someone to talk about with the great hitting skills.
Hmm. Yeah, and the other thing too is that, especially on a contract year, this will be something that the Phillies need to keep a close eye on, especially what they look like, especially in these next couple months or so. If they want to re-sign him, maybe that should be an opportunity to re-sign him now before like some big team comes out and gives them a boatload of money that goes somewhere else. The last thing I'll say about Schwarber too is just that it's just amazing to think that Schwarber every single year from the moment we got him continues to dominate on every which way, and it's good to know to see other players start to shape up a little bit too. Just like for example, like Trey Turner starting to step up a little bit. And I thought Bryce Harper starting to finally starting to find his groove a little bit too. And the other thing that's really positive to see too is that a lot of the hitters in this on this team are really starting to hit their stride a little bit. So, I mean, I guess the one question I have to ask you is before we move on here is that, I mean, it's kind of cool to see the hitters are actually finally hitting their stride a little bit, like in these last
Hmm.
couple weeks or so.
Yeah, I just wish that I've seen Trey Turner do a little better in his
Right.
stride of things. I know he's in the slump as of now, but he's definitely making contact here and there. But I definitely want to see him be more active, just like Kyle is doing, and uh, and Bryce Harper is doing a terrific job as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just staying in there, being consistent in the plate, in the batter's box, and just letting it rip day in and day out. And I just hope that Trey Turner comes around the corner, either in this series or the series after this one, and have a good momentum into later in the year.
Yeah, absolutely. And usually the last couple months and the last couple years or so have been kind of shaky for Trey Turner and like trying to step it up a little bit here. So I'm right there with you on
Mm-hmm.
that. And also, like you said, like Harper's starting to play, like getting back into that groove like he did the last few years or so. So it's something definitely to keep a close eye on too, especially in these
And
what they're gonna
also,
look. Yeah.
sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
And and also, Alec Boehm has been in the same spot as Trey Turner, and
Yeah.
uh, I'm not sure what's going wrong with him, but he's definitely not been too strong about his at bats lately.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I guess the other thing too with Alec Boehm, I mean, yeah, it's like hit and miss sometimes. Like he's good one minute and the other minute he starts to struggle a little bit. But speaking of Alec Boehm, I actually brought this up on my show on Saturday. There might be some trade rumors going out there right now that Alec Boehm could be traded away, and also could be if there's a possibility of like a Nolan Arenado coming in to probably replace Alec Boehm, and probably if that ever comes down to it. So obviously it's a trade rumor. I don't know how true it is though, but hypothetically, you see the situation that's going on right now with the third base situation here right now. Do you take a flyer on Nolan Arenado if the time calls for it, the Phillies to pick up the phone and try to acquire him? Or do you just stick around with Alec Boehm to see what he's capable of for the next couple months or so before the trade deadline, or what they're going to do with Alec Boehm? Like, what's your immediate reaction when you hear this news?
Yeah, I think it all depends on the radar and what the front office wants to do best
Mm-hmm.
for it. And I guess if they like someone that's jumping at them on the radar, then I don't see why they would go ahead and offer whatever contract they want to offer.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, don't get me wrong, but Alec Boehm is a phenomenal defensive player
Mm-hmm.
in the field, and his hitting has been better in the past, but as of now, he's just not making the right contact that he wants to make, and it's making Phillies fans a little like nerve wracking.
Agitated.
Yeah, yeah, agitated. Yeah, um, but I just feel like he's definitely going to get into a groove. Uh, no, no later than next month, and I it, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets hot after we talk about him tonight.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, right.
Yeah. Um, I just feel a big series for him, especially against a bad St. Louis team, and he just got to embrace every play appearance he gets.
Yeah, and also too, speaking of Arenado, he is in the he's with the Cardinals, and also the Cardinals are in town tonight, so it'll be a bit, little bit to see like if hey look maybe if Arenado wants to come to the come to Philadelphia and join the Phillies. I mean, this will be a good challenge for him too tonight, especially if that trade rumors are true too.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into our bullpen watch before we go any step further here. not much to complain about with the bullpen necessarily wise, because usually half the time I would have something to say about this bullpen, either if it's like a Jordan Romano starting to struggle a little bit, but he actually pitched well last night in that final game of the Cleveland series, so it was good to see him do something like that. Jose Alvarado's been has been pitching very well as of lately too, so overall, I mean, the bullpen is steady, but the question I have to ask you, and I'll ask this in this series, especially coming up between the Cardinals and the Pirates series. I mean, can they sustain it? I mean, that's going to be the most important key. I mean, what would you say? Can the Phillies sustain it, or are you thinking elsewise?
Yeah, I think they could sustain it. It's just a matter of uh, how how well they pitch day in and day out,
Mm-hmm.
and it all starts tonight. Go into this game tonight thinking of 0-0 record, and just do your best and try to shut them out and see
Mm-hmm.
what happens.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing too is that, I mean, if the bullpen can finally, I mean, like sustainable is like the most important key that I was talking about too, because you think about this time when the Phillies were really struggling with their bullpen, it was a real hard to watch to see pitchers that come and go and also struggle the way they do, like a Craig Kimbrell that can list, and like even like majority of the time they look like they have the lead in the bag, and then the bullpen starts to struggle like early on in the season. Like the same thing with Jordan Romano, like I brought up here. And the other thing too is that maybe now they're starting to try to get their footing a little bit, so it's gonna be interesting to watch. And I guess the other thing too is that if they can sustain it too, like you even said, and even we alluded to here, that will be the most important key as we get closer and closer to when the time calls for that when the Phillies start to hit their stride and also get one step closer to go into the postseason. It'll be something to keep a close eye on for sure, though. No question about it.
Yeah, I definitely love what Romano is doing. Last night he definitely was uh, on fire with his breaking balls. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like uh, there's been times last night that they were chasing pitches,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, he definitely wasn't what it looked like in his previous outings. But I
But
think he's definitely turning the corner uh,
mm-hmm.
in a good way. And as far as Jose Alvarado, he's throwing that heat, uh, high, like high fastball pitches, and he just has the ability to be a guy in that bullpen rotation to be that first reliable reliever, and it's really crucial for the Phillies to have him like what he's doing.
Yeah, and that's and like you said, that's perfectly said it best right there. Because like the Phillies right there, if the Phillies could sustain the level of success and also what Alvarado's been doing, and also see Romano pitched fantastic last night. That I mean, hopefully they
Mm-hmm.
can finally. That's the most important thing. Like if the Phillies can come around and also start to like hit their stride, and also like even the best thing about it too is like a better bullpen, and also see 1, 2, 3 innings, or even more so a very steady bullpen. That's going to be the most important thing to that level of success too. All right, so we got only one minor league thing to report here. So we got basically Andrew Painter, who's been on it. Looks like he's doing good up in Lehigh Valley. So the most important thing, more than anything, is that like how I mean, you think about the Phillies have that 6 man rotation depending on the situation that they have nowadays. Now with Ranger Suarez back in the lineup and two. So if when Andrew Painter, hopefully not too soon
Mm-hmm.
until now, but hypothetically, I mean, if you had to bring up Andrew Painter to, I mean, I don't know how to ask the question, but I would ask like just a very important question here. Is just that, like, are we gonna see Andrew Painter this year come up with the Phillies? I mean, I'm not entirely sure, but what would you think the Phillies do with Andrew Painter this season?
Yeah, I'm not too optimistic of him getting the call up this season. I think the best case scenario is for him to just wait it out and
Sure.
get make his debut sometime next season. I just don't see this rotation switching at all this season. The way they have it as of now,
Right.
and I just don't want to force him to come in and just bring bad energy with the rotation.
Sure.
Not not saying that he's a bad pitcher, but I just want the rotation to keep as it is, and they'll they're definitely going in the right direction with winning games every now and then, and the bottom line, in my opinion, is just to save him for what's to come next year. I know that there might be moves throughout the off season this season, and until next spring, and especially in the pitching talk of things. I'm just interested to see what the front office does with him, and what Rob Thompson thinks of what comes.
Yeah, and I guess the most thing too is that like if Andrew Painter, and you brought it up perfectly right there. So with Andrew Painter, it's just like you don't want to cause a little bit of a divide in the locker room. Like obviously with Taiwan Walker and even like Ranger Suarez who just came up too. So I mean, hopefully we'll see Andrew Painter eventually. Maybe we'll probably see him down the road, but right now I think the core is there. I mean, I don't think you don't have to critique anything in that capability. So that's gonna be the most important thing. It's that if Andrew Painter does come up, someone has to go down in the process too. Like, I mean, Taiwan Walker, like you move him to the bullpen, that's gonna be. I mean, that's going to be something to keep a close eye on what Topper does do if, hypothetically, Andrew Painter does come up. So that'll be interesting to watch, especially in these next couple months or so, too.
Yeah, just to add to that, I just feel like the best case of young MLB pitchers is to develop as much as possible, and he's definitely in the right place at the right time of developing his pitching and his performance, and getting ready for a potential debut next year, whenever that time comes. And I'm just really anxious to see how his growth of pitching goes throughout this time. And I know that you'll be having an eye on him the rest of this season, and I'm just curious to see what happens.
Yeah, and that's going to be the most important thing, too, especially in these next few months or so. That's going to be something, especially what they'll do in these next, like I said, I mean, it's not a big deal if Painter does come up soon, but it'll be something very interesting, too. All right, before we get out of here, we'll close it out here with this. This is called the upcoming series preview, which we'll recap next week. I will not be on. I think it'll be Austin Hamill. I'm not mistaken. I think you're on that show, and I think somebody else is too, if I'm not mistaken. So I would be sure that it will be a very good show next week, like it does this week and the last couple weeks or so too. But speaking of the upcoming series preview tonight for the Phillies and the Cardinals, this is a 3-game set between St. Louis and Philadelphia. So the starting pitching rotation for this upcoming matchup is that Christopher Sanchez will take the mound tonight against Matt Liberatore. I can try to say that 10 times fast, and sometimes I don't go. It's a little bit of a tongue twister sometimes. Tomorrow night, actually, speaking of Christopher Sanchez, he has a 4-1 record this year and has a record of 2.89 ERA. And for Lepitar, it will be 3. He is a 3-3 this season and has an ERA of 3.07. Tomorrow night for the Phillies, it will be Jesus Luzardo taking the helm and looking to get his 4th straight win, as he'll be opposed by Sonny Gray. Luzardo has has a 3-0 record this year and has a 2.11 earned run average against Sonny Gray, who is 4-1 this season and has a 3.50 ERA. And to close out the series on Wednesday afternoon, that will be Aaron Nola looking to try to get off the schneid here and try to get his second win of the season. And he'll be opposed by Eric Fetty. For Nola, though, he has a 1-6 record this year and has a record of has an ERA of 4.86. As for Eric Fetty, he'll take the helm, and he is also 3-3 this season and has an ERA of 3.86. And then after that, they don't have the probables for the Pirates and the Phillies pitching rotation, so that's to be announced. That'll be coming up on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But before we go here, let's see. Let's see what we got here. Alex, I want to ask you. Just plain and simple, the most important thing here is that what are your expectations for this upcoming Phillies matchups between the Phillies and the Cardinals this week and for the upcoming series against the Pirates?
Yeah, my early thoughts on the series is to stay consistent offensively, get the bats going in the early innings, and not give up what they've given up in the later innings. And this is the series where they should definitely thrive with the talent of St. Louis and the lack of talent of the Cardinals. And I just feel like there's a great chance to go into the series on a positive note, and we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing, too, for my expectations this week is that if they continue to play the way they have played the last couple of weeks, I think they play to the capability that they have. I thought the last few weeks since that Tampa Bay series are finally hitting, like you even said, like hitting their stride, and hopefully they continue to strive even more so, especially against the Cardinals and especially against the Pirates coming up this weekend. And I expect the Phillies to do very well against St. Louis. I mean, St. Louis is okay, but they're not bad. I mean, they're not the St. Louis Cardinals of the old when they had Rainbird and Pujols, and the same thing with the Pirates too. I mean, they just fired their manager the last a couple weeks ago, so they're still trying to find their footing too, especially what they'll look like too. All right, that is going to do it for here tonight for this edition of This Week in Phillies Baseball. Alex, if you may, where can people see you next here on Hardcore Sports Network, if so?
I'll be definitely having shows in the coming days on the Blitz Take, which is my football podcast.
Nice.
You can find me on YouTube for Hardcore Sports for my basketball podcast as well, Hoop Talk Fanatics, and the Dugout Report for my baseball podcast. I'm trying my best to put as much content as possible, and I'm definitely looking forward to what's to come.
Yeah, definitely. This was a great show. I really do appreciate you coming on, my friend. And it was always even Mitch even brought it up too, is that just to get more people involved, that's the most important thing too. That's going to be the most important thing, especially in these next few months or so as we get closer and closer to what it really matters the most. If the Phillies go there, and also if they can get back to the sustainability of what they had at the portions of many times before like that too. All right, that's going to do it here for tonight here for this edition of This Week in Phillies Baseball. I'd like to thank Alex Reich for joining me here tonight. Sorry, Joe couldn't make it. He had some technical difficulties, and trust me, that's no fun to talk about here. But especially I would expect him to be back. We will be back very, very soon. Myself, Joey, and Mitch will be back for Fly Like an Eagle on Friday. And like always, you can also check out Alex Reich on Facebook, Twitter, and all the things about that too on the social media platforms. So I want to say thank you again for joining here tonight, my friend, and I really do appreciate you coming on once again for another edition of This Week in Phillies Baseball.
Thanks. Go Phillies.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, now for everyone behind the scenes and for everyone made it work here, for Alex, for Joey, and for myself, I'm James Scorza here. And this has been This Week in Phillies Baseball, and I'm your host, James Scorza, saying thanks for watching, everybody. Until then, we'll see you guys next week, and enjoy the game, and we'll see you on the other side.